Sometimes it's fun to have a watch reach out and smack you in the face. Wait a minute, you might ask, are you nuts? Yes, well, that's a fact, but hear me out here. My personal taste leans towards what some people will call boring, like a three-hander, no date preferably, austere and black. You know, quietly fading into the background but asserting its authority to be here. No fuss, no out there in-your-face attention-seeking features, and preferably around 40mm skin divers that again gets the job done in the classic fashion, you know, such as the Marin skin diver I'm still in love with. The problem with this is that you tend to close yourself off to the more out there options, such as what's on your screen right now. Yes, this is certainly a very bold design, and it's not something I would ever go near unless I wasn't in the very privileged position of being lent watches for review, which means I get to experience designs like this in person. And also, in the Ikigai Facebook group, there are plenty of people loving the design, which once again proves that there is something for everyone in the watch world. Now here's the thing, despite my preferences for boring, I've come to really appreciate this on my wrist, which is testament to Oscar once again, the designer behind it. His previous design, the Maru, wasn't exactly a shrinking violet either, but I like that very much and I still wear it regularly to this day. So even if you're like me and would scoff at the very idea of wearing an out there design inspired by turtles, and to me looks like a creature fished out of a deep sea abyss, perhaps consider giving this video your attention. And let me get the price out of the way immediately so you know that this won't leave your wallet weeping. Early bird pricing starts at $399 US. I hope you can give this video some attention and let's dive in amongst the corals together. So despite the out there look, the dimensions are quite normal indeed, which certainly adds to the wearability overall. Designs like this tends to be comically oversized, but not this one. The diameter is 40mm and the lug to lug is 46.8mm. It's 12.3mm thick and the water resistance is a not quite Mariana Trench worthy 200m, but it's easily enough for you and me. On the bracelet, it weighs in at 164 grams. The dial is quite something clearly. The watch is inspired by turtles, which is particularly so on the bezel, but the dial itself has elements as well from this inspiration, such as the central disc with its intricate patterns that catches reflection depending on the angle of the light. The applied indices, which takes inspiration from turtle shell shapes, are again an in-your-face design feature that you're either on board with or not. I'm mostly on board since I like how they form an almost childlike pebble in a circle kind of approach. And you certainly won't have any problems with legibility with tons of lume applied and also steel polished edge that reflect the light during the day. Thankfully, the hands are a straight up sword shape with the Minotaur being slightly longer, so a good decision there. The brand name is hidden on the rehort and starts at 12. A subtle little detail is that the eye and Ikigai is replicated at every 5-minute marker around the rehort. So overall the dial is certainly eye-catching and bold, but let's move on to the bezel, which takes that up a notch. The turtle shapes are everywhere here, with the in-your-face 5-minute markers and a larger marker at 12. This 12 position is also identified by its slightly asymmetrical and flatter edge. The bezel is that slightly too fast step for me, if I'm honest, but I've never been into oversized bezels since I feel they take too much attention away from what matters. I think the shapes are quite cool though, it gives it a real organic feel amongst the steel, but to also print the numbers on the beveled sides, which I get is mirroring the same treatment on the rehort, it's just a little bit over the top, but that's just my opinion and it's not a criticism. All this said, it's holding a piece of sapphire crystal with AR coating on the inside in place, and it's also smooth and precise 120 click feel. The case is slim and well designed with some lovely soft feeling dramatic polished angles on the lugs. and I like the shapes on the side that looks like sea turtle flippers. There are no drilled lugs here, but the bracelet is quick release, so it's not an issue. The unusual crown protectors serve more to meet the back of the crown than protecting it, and the way the bezel is designed, this might be by necessity. The slight gap is not an issue for the water resistance, but it looks a little odd not sitting flush against the side, but it's certainly easy to grip, and I know this was a priority. The back of the case has the Japan-inspired motifs that are part of the inspiration behind the brand. But of course what you will mostly see immediately is a beautiful turtle. Behind the turtle is the Miyota 9039 Japanese movement that offers a 42-hour power reserve, and it will tick reliably for many years. And whilst you get the usual noisy rotor from the Miyota movement, at least you know on your wrist that here's a mechanical watch. Using the version here when no date goes click is commendable. The bracelet is all brushed with an almost scale-like design that fits the watch well. The mid-link is apparently being slightly changed for production to articulate better. They are already good in my version here, although they did get stuck at one point, so I can understand the change. And I can also test to the screw-in links being very easy to adjust for your own wrist size. The classic fold-over 2-button release clasp has what is now come to be almost standard on your good micro brands, a quick adjust push-button mechanism. Having spent some time in tropical Queensland here in Australia for work recently, I can again attest to how much your wrist can swell in the humid heat, so this is a genuinely useful feature. So one specialty of Ikigai is the loom, which is going to be further improved on production, but it's already pretty amazing. I fully understand that this is not for everyone. It's not even for me, as I made clear. But I have seen many people online really getting behind it. So there's clearly a market for those of us that enjoy challenging ourselves by wearing something a bit more unusual and fun than the typical traditional wrist jewelry that we tend to gravitate towards. As I've said many times before, what I love about this hobby is how diverse it is. There is something for everyone. And if you have the courage to design something bold and fun, there is usually a market for that, and Oscar has done so once again. It genuinely makes me happy that we have watches like this exist, and that we don't get endless Submariner clones. Even for myself and my 3-hander austere designs, they have become more of a palette cleanser these days than a permanent wear. Who knows, perhaps the day will come when I yearn for a turtle-inspired in-your-face design to slap me in the face and occupy my wrist. If so, I couldn't think of a better one to do so than the Ikigai Kame. What do you think? Is this design for you and will you get one? Let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.